Hey, Thinksters, how is it going? So today I got a nice message from my friend Lucas, who manages the @codinglucas Thinkster Instagram account. It's a great account. Check it out. Definitely go there and subscribe because he releases a lot of Python content, very interesting Python content there every day. And this article was about the Walrus Operator, and he provided a code example, and I will use this code example just to show the Walrus Operator to you. So another term for the Walrus Operator is assignment expression. Why? Because you can use it in any expression. You can define a term and immediately assign a value to the term. Okay, so let's have a look at an example. Say you have a list of dictionaries like this, okay? And each dictionary is basically a user, and each user has some keys, like the name, or also called attributes. Like here we have name Alice, and we have a user ID, and then we also have a value approved, okay? And there are three possibilities now. A user can be either approved, he can be like approved equals true, he can be rejected, which means approved equals false, or he could be neither. So the attribute of approved is not even set. So all these options are possible. So what if you wanted to check to count the number of users who are actually approved? Okay, so they are not rejected and they are not. We also have the attribute in our user dictionary. So then you can have a counter. You set the counter to 0. You go over all users. And this user variable now is a dictionary. And you can then check, for example, you can create a variable apper or approved. Let's call it approved. And you get the attribute approved, okay, from the dictionary. So in the get function, it just gets the associated value to the key. And here, if you have associated value, then it will be true. But if the key does not even exist in the dictionary, then the result will be none. Okay, and here in this case it will be false. So we have these three different outcomes. We have true, false, or none as possible outcomes. And in our case, like, we will have three positive outcomes where the user is really approved. You can check this just using this short expression: if approved, then you increase the counter. Yeah, then you call counter +1 basically. Okay, and now we simply print the counter, and this. So then, what do you think? What is the result of this execution? So if we run this, we get the result 3. Okay, the user is not defined. User and users. Okay, so I made a mistake here. Good. So if you execute this code, you will get the result 3. If I fix all the mistakes, then we should get the result 3. Counter. Where have I used counter? Print counter. Okay. So now it works. Okay, so result 3. And so this is a standard way of doing it. Basically, you have you get a value, then you assign the value, and then you check the value. But now with the Walrus operator, it becomes very, very efficient, because now what you can do is you can define the approved variable ad hoc. Yeah, user get approved. So you do the same thing, but in a single line of code, and now you can skip this whole line of code. You basically define the Walrus, so the Walrus operator, this whole thing. So basically, this one is the Walrus operator. It's an expression which you can use, an assignment which you can use within an expression. Okay, so we have this expression here, and now we assign the variable. We assign the value of the result of user get approved to the variable approved. Okay, and now we can use it later. And this works nicely. I mean, it doesn't even make sense because you don't even have to store the result of the variable here, but it's still so if you could even have further processing on the approved variable here. Okay, so and this is the Walrus operator. If you run this, then it should result in exactly the same thing, 3. And it's just a shorter way of writing something. So it's very oftentimes you will use it in file access, for example. So I just write it and cannot execute it, obviously, because it's an online shell here, and I don't have really a file lying around here, but yeah, so oftentimes you do something like this. So you open a file as the file name, and then you iterate in, like for example in chunk, you iterate over let's call it batch. You iterate over batches in the certain file, and now you use the Walrus operator to assign say 1024 bytes, yeah, and you print the batch, for example. So this will not work now because obviously I don't have a file data text here online, but yeah, it will work. So you can read a file batch wise for like this, and oftentimes, I mean, previously you had to assign the values in advance, so in the so not within the expression, and now you can use it. You can use the just newly created variable where you assign some values to it at runtime. So it's an awesome operator. It's very nice for Python one-liners as well. And yeah, thanks for listening, and see you in the next video. Bye.